homeschool moms. Today we're going to look at homeschool schedules. I'm going to be sharing with you our current simple schedule and kind of talking a little bit about what we have done in the past as well. So right now we are using a very simple schedule. It's the same one that we used last year, and I wrote a blog post about it with more details, so I will leave that link down below if you are curious about that. But we are using a simple schedule. In years past, we have followed a routine. We have done a very strict schedule. I have tried everything. In 14 years of homeschooling, I've tried a lot of different routines and schedules to try to make homeschooling a little bit more manageable. So what is the difference between a routine and a schedule? Well, for me, a routine is really just an order of events. So there's no, time set to each thing. It's just a flow of the day. So when we had a routine, we just got up in the morning and had breakfast, and then the kids knew that the next thing was to do their chore, and the next thing was to start school, and then we would take a break for snack, and then we'd do some more school, and then eventually we'd have lunch, and then they would have free time to play. And so we didn't have any set time. We didn't say school's going to be starting at a certain time, that we eat snack at a certain time or lunch at a certain time. We just got up in the morning and kind of followed a routine. So that worked really well in a few seasons of my homeschooling journey. In other seasons, we have had to have a very strict schedule. And with a schedule, that means I am putting times to things. And so I actually have on my blog as well a very strict schedule that we followed several years ago. And I know that a lot of people say, hey, don't have a strict schedule. A schedule is terrible. Have a routine. I'm here to tell you, you need to do what works for you in the season that you're at. And while a schedule usually oftentimes can be really constricting and confining and just make you feel like, we gotta get things done because, 10 more minutes and we've got to move on to the next thing. Sometimes it can make you more anxious. Other times a schedule can be a huge blessing, and that's what it was for us several years ago. I had a lot of kids that I was homeschooling, babies, toddlers, preschoolers, all of that, and it was just so hard to juggle everybody and everything, and I needed everybody to know exactly what they were doing at each time of the day, and I needed older kids to be watching younger ones, and so I had a very detailed schedule. Everybody was in a little square slot for each time frame, and they knew they could look at that schedule and know this is what I'm doing at this time, this is what mom's doing at this time, and so on. So we really needed a strict schedule for a few years in our homeschooling journey, and now we follow more of a simple schedule. It's almost like a routine, but I have put times to it. And here's why I put times to it. First of all, I've got 7 kids. There's 6 of them at home right now, and juggling, when we didn't have times, slots, what would happen is I'd have kids that would get up at 6:30 in the morning and some that would sleep until 10. And then all of a sudden at noon, I had kids who wanted lunch, and some who needed help with schoolwork, and some who were ready for a nap, and some who just wanted snack, and some who wanted their kind of recess playtime in the middle of their school day. And I just felt like I was stretched in every direction. And so I needed everybody to kind of be on the same schedule. I needed people to be up at the same time, having breakfast at the same time, starting school at the same time, and so on. So we went back to having a schedule, but I didn't need a strict schedule. I didn't need all these little details and time chunks all mapped out. So we have a simple schedule. So that's what I'm going to share with you today in this video, is what our simple homeschool schedule looks like for us. Our schedule really starts when the youngest ones wake up, and they wake up sometime between 6 and 7, usually about 6:30. So when they get up, my husband and I roll out of bed with them. There's a lot of stuff that my husband and I do late into the evening in terms of me doing a lot of blogging and editing YouTube videos, and we just want to spend time together when the kids are asleep, and he's working on work stuff as well. And so we are up late in the evenings, and so we sleep in with the kids. I don't know if 6:30 is really sleeping in, but we stay in bed till the kids get up most of the time. And so when they get up at 6:30, we get up with those little ones. My husband usually takes them into the kitchen and gets them some breakfast so that I can get ready really quickly, and then we kind of swap and I take over taking care of those kiddos, and my husband gets ready for work. Now at 7:30, everybody has to be up. So a lot of kids have already kind of woken up and trickled into the kitchen and started breakfast, but at 7:30, if you're still sleeping in this house, you are going to be woken up, and you're going to have to get up and get ready for the day. So at 7:30, everybody has to be up. And then school starts at 9 o'clock. So the kids have at least, if they sleep until 7:30, they've got a whole hour and a half to eat breakfast, to get themselves ready for the day, and to do their morning chore. And then at 9 o'clock is when our school day starts. And our school day is from 9 to 12:30. That's what we do, the biggest chunk of our schoolwork. Now, some of my kids are up at 6:30 and they get ready fast and they do their chore fast, and maybe by 7:15 they're already, to start school. And so I let them know they don't have to start school until 9 o'clock. But if they'd like to get a head start on their schoolwork, they are more than welcome to do that. But here's the catch. I will not answer questions about school. I will not help with schoolwork until 9 o'clock. And here's why. There are things that I need to do in the morning. I need to get myself ready. That's the time where I will respond to maybe emails from people or texts from people, maybe about some activities that we have, or meeting up with friends in the afternoon. That's where I kind of get all of that stuff done. I also like to spend some time with my little ones before we start the school day. And if I'm playing with them and I've got kids asking me questions about school, I don't really get to give those little ones some undivided attention before school starts. And I don't know about you, but just brushing my teeth, it goes a lot faster if I'm not answering school questions. If I'm trying to brush my teeth or, put on makeup or do my hair or whatever, and I'm having to run back and forth and answer questions about schoolwork, everything takes 2-3 times longer. So Mom is not available to help with school until 9 o'clock, but they are certainly welcome to do as much school as possible on their own before then. Now at 9 o'clock we start school, and from, like I said, 9 to 12:30 kids work on school, and we don't have any, like time frames that they have to, math is at this time and spelling is at this time. They can kind of just choose the order that they want to do their schoolwork in, and using BJU Press Distance Learning has really helped with that, because they can just put the video in and get the instruction, and they don't really have to wait for me to help them with that much. Now about 10 o'clock, my 1.5-year-old is ready for his nap. We're trying to push it a little bit later and get him to taking like a longer afternoon nap at the same time that my 3.5-year-old does. But right now he is tired at 10 o'clock, probably because he's getting up, at 6. So at 10 o'clock he goes down for a nap. And my kids know that once he is down for a nap, I come back in to our schoolroom here, and I let them know, hey, little guy's down for his nap. I'm going to put a little TV show on for the 3.5-year-old, and I'm going to be in a minute to do spelling with you. And so they kind of wrap up or find a good place to stop with whatever schoolwork they're working on at that moment. And so when my 1.5-year-old is napping, I put a movie on or a TV show for my 3.5-year-old, and that's when I do spelling with the 4 kids that are doing schoolwork right now. We are using the Spell to Write and Read program. That's very teacher intensive. It's a phenomenal program, but it's very teacher intensive. So it really helps if I can do it without the distractions of the little one. So that's why we do it when the little one's napping. If his nap ends up being later, then the kids know whenever he's napping, we're doing spelling. That's just our spelling time. So if his nap gets pushed later, if it's earlier, they just know when, the baby's napping, that's when we're doing spelling. And then when we get spelling done, I usually turn the TV off for my 3.5-year-old and spend some time playing with him while the kids go back and finish up the schoolwork that they have to do. And then at 12:30 we have lunch. After lunch, the kids do their after lunch chores. Sometimes we call them the afternoon chores, but after lunch chores, they do those. And then we have kind of a quiet time. And because that is usually when the baby is up from his nap and is in the high chair eating, so he's somewhat quiet. And my 3.5-year-old is down for his nap. And so everybody else, we have about an hour of quiet time. They can look at books. Well, they usually have to look at books or read books for about half an hour. And then after that, if they want to color or do a puzzle or just play quietly, that's fine with me. This is also the time to finish up schoolwork. So if they didn't get any, get all their schoolwork done for the day, usually my 5th and 7th grader might have a few more things that they need to finish up after lunch during that quiet time. And then after that, it's just free time for them until dinner. We don't usually eat dinner till about 6:30, sometimes almost 7, depending on when my husband gets home from work. And then we try to get the kids to bed by 8:30. Like the first batch hopefully is in bed by 8:30, and then kind of progresses from there. When you have a large family, bedtime can sometimes be a struggle. So getting everybody to bed and quiet, because they kind of keep each other up. But anyways, that's kind of our homeschool day, simple schedule. Like I said, we do put time, I do have chunks of time when we have to do things. I also wanted to mention, when I was talking about the reason why I put time chunks on there, another reason that we did that is because I had one particular child who knew when we were doing a routine, he knew the routine. He knew that we get up and we have breakfast, then he was supposed to get ready, then he was supposed to do his chore. And wouldn't you know that he would take an hour or two to eat breakfast and an hour to pick out clothes when he really didn't care what clothes he was wearing, and an hour or more to do a 10-minute chore. And so I realized he's pushing things off so that he doesn't have to start school. So better we say, hey, 9 o'clock is school, you need to get everything done by then. So that was another reason that we made it into a schedule and instead of a routine, was we needed those time chunks just so that everybody was kind of on the same page and doing the same thing at the same time. But also because I have some kids who, hey, just like me, still have some heart issues to work on and some character issues to work on, and laziness is one of them, and we needed to have some times so that they knew, hey, I have to get things done by a certain time. So anyways, that is how we are using our simple schedule for homeschooling this year. I'd love to hear about your schedule as well. Do you guys use a routine? Do you use a schedule? Or hey, do you guys just wing it? There are some years we have just winged it and we are just all over the place, and there is just a season for each of those. And so whatever season you're in, just find something that works the best for your family. All right, you guys, I hope this was helpful and encouraging to you. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with your other homeschool mom friends if you found it encouraging. And I will see you guys in another video. Bye-bye.